No. You will sit here yourself and then you should.
Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, everyone. From wherever you're watching us from, it's morning here, but I would like to say good morning to you, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Thank you very much for watching. This is day 4 of History Makers Training. We're here for a 5 days intensive, actually it's going to be 6 days now, 6 days intensive program. So we appreciate you for joining us. I hope you will be learning something from this HNT. The title of this HNT, or the theme, is how to structure and plan your life for the next 25 years. It's not even something that I think about. 25 years is a long time, but really it's not a long time, and we need to learn to plan. So I appreciate you all for joining. I hope you have your pens and your paper, your notepads ready to make notes today. So I'm just going to share a few things with you. First of all, I'm going to ask you, before I share something with you, I'm going to ask you to please share this video now. So share with other people, share on your timeline, and share with your friends and family on your friends list. So please do so now. And also, if you're watching from YouTube, you can copy the link and paste it onto your WhatsApp, or just paste it as an email to somebody so that they can also benefit from today's program or today's teaching. You'll be glad that you did, and other people also would thank you for doing this. So, and the other thing I want to share is the books that accompany this program or this HNT. The first one I'm going to show you here is Life's Greatest Secrets. I think all of us want to know what life's secrets are, and the greatest secrets, well, it's something that we all want to know. So here is a book for you. If you want to know what life's greatest secrets are, this is one for you. There's another one here, What to Do with Your Time. You know, a lot of time, especially young people, what are you doing? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. It's always I don't know. Well, I'm from England, and I know that this is something that comes up all the time. I don't know. So if you don't know, this is one book you can get, What to Do with Your Time. Another book that, wow, the title alone, I know many people dread this. I have been delivered from this. Really, I have been delivered. I must tell you. Who will attend your funeral? I know nobody wants to know about death and funeral, or who wants to come to their funeral. But this is an absolutely brilliant read, and I think everyone should have this. You know, just have this as a theory. If you don't want to think about your funeral and you don't want to think about your death, in any case, go ahead and read it. Here, who will attend your funeral? I'm thinking right now, who will attend my funeral? Okay. All right. Another book here, How to Regain Your Lost Years. It doesn't matter what age you are. Everybody have lost years, you know, for one reason or the other. This book is a brilliant read. How to regain your lost years. I love how-to books because it just gives you direction, focus as well. So this book is a must read for everyone. Doesn't matter what age you are. How to Regain Your Lost Years would be a useful tool for you to maximize your time as well. Okay, this is one of my favorite books. Or yes, The Plague of Silence. I just don't like anyone to keep quiet. I don't like anyone not to say their mind. I don't like seeing things and turning at blind eyes. And this book actually would empower you to speak when you're supposed to speak. Here it is, The Plague of Silence. Excellent book. It's not too hefty, so I think this is a good start. And finally, the Elijah Challenge. I know a lot of you have already seen Dr. Sunday's Elijah Challenge video, a 17 minutes video. If you haven't, please go and watch it. It's on Dr. Sunday Adelaja on YouTube. And it's also on Facebook, but the easiest way to find it is on YouTube. So type in Dr. Sunday Adelaja on YouTube and the Elijah Challenge. You'll be able to see the video. And a follow-up to that video is this amazing book, The Elijah Challenge. Give it a go and have a read. So those are the 6 books for this HNT, how to structure and plan your life goal for the next 25 years. A brilliant tool for us, or a brilliant topic that we are learning already a lot. This is day 4. In the morning, we have other sessions coming up. And I am privileged, okay, I'm jumping the guns here because I didn't tell you the topic. I am privileged to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is Pastor Bose Adelaja. And I say I'm privileged because the topic is the privilege of planning. But I feel actually privileged to be introducing her. For those of you that you know Dr. Sunday already, but the powerhouse behind Dr. Sunday is I want to say Dr. Bose, but let me just say Pastor Bose Adelaja. She's an amazing woman, and I don't want to say too much other than not to steal more of her time to teach you. It's going to be an amazing morning this morning. So please get your notepad and get your pen ready. The privilege of planning. Thank you very much, Pastor Bose. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good morning again. Good morning, everybody. I would suggest that we just have some words of prayer. So, Lord, we acknowledge your presence in this training. We thank you because you rule over all, and we place ourselves in your huge plan. We place ourselves in your purpose for our life. We humble ourselves this morning and we ask that your will be done, that your kingdom come, and that the purpose of bringing us into this place at this time shall be established, and that many people will be blessed because of us, because we came and because we invested our lives. Blessed be your holy name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. Like Mayowa had introduced already, the topic we'll be treating today is the privilege of planning. But before we start, one of the books that were just spoken about is The Plague of Silence. And when she was introducing that book, when she was introducing the books, not that book, but when she was introducing the books, there was also another one, who will, okay, then the book I really need is Who Will Attend Your Funeral. Yeah, that's the one. But it's the plague of silence that is making me to talk about it, because normally I will just mind my business, right, and do what I'm here to do. Yeah, but a thought just came to my mind when she was talking about this book, Who Will Attend My Funeral. And I noticed that when she finished introducing this book or talking about this book, then she said, oh, I'm thinking, who will attend my funeral? Then we all laughed. And when we laughed, a thought came to my mind that we are talking about death freely, and not many people can do that, because many people, they dread death. They don't want to talk about it. I mean, if they can postpone it forever, they would have loved to postpone it. So I was just thinking how delivered we are through Christ, of course, and also through knowledge, to be able to freely talk about death. And I want to connect that to the topic we are treating, because one of the motivations of planning, of capturing 25 years, is the knowledge that death is inevitable, and that we should learn to use death to our advantage. Because we know one day we're going to die. Yeah, the statistics says 1 out of 100%, everybody will die, right? So instead of dreading it, instead of being afraid of it, I think what this training is trying to tell us is to face our fear, and to get something good from what could have been, a cause of fear in our life, to look death at its face and do something and create something out of death. So if we have that understanding of death, then we will live a more meaningful life. And part of living a meaningful life is capturing your days, planning your days, implementing your plans. So And also another thought that came to my mind was when Maya was introducing the books, I was just thinking about the title of the books. You know, it came to my mind that maybe you don't really need, it's not that maybe you don't really need to read the books, but I think people should take time to reflect just on the topics of the books. You know, reading the book is another thing, but even the topics of the books are already giving a lot to a person who can think. You know, just who will attend your funeral sends a big message, right? It's just the title of the books themselves, they are also thoughts, right? Foods for thought. So we'll thank the introducer, we thank the author, and we thank God that we're here. Okay, back to our topic, the privilege of planning. The topic of the HMT is how to, what I would say in my own words, how to capture 25 years of your years, how to be in charge of it. And I believe Pastor Sunday is doing a good job, and he will do a good job about that. But today I want to, because part of you know, planning, living a good life is understanding why we need to plan. Because we talk a lot about planning, and when I say we, I mean almost in every sphere of humanity. You know, we talk about planning. Where is your plan? Plan is very important, not just in the religious world. It's important everywhere. Anywhere you take, people are moving around with their plans, and you know, supervisors are checking the checklist, what has been done, what has not been done. So today I want us to look at planning from the benefit side. The privileges. When we understand this topic, what are the privileges that will come to our lives? Okay, so planning. Two things that comes to mind when you work with planning is that there are short-term plans and there are long-term plans. So talking about 25 years is definitely not a short-term plan. It's a long-term plan, and so we should go deeper in our understanding of what we are dealing with at this training. That we are not talking about the short-term plan. Of course, you cannot have a long-term plan without, you know, having the short. Long-term plans is a set of short-term plans, right? But so mistakenly planning for strategy is a common trap. Strategic plan is a long-term plan. So a lot of people, and you know, the short-term plan is easier, you know, what you can see, you know, and a lot of people, they plan their day. You know, one day is easy, you know, to accommodate than accommodating 10 years that you cannot see. But I think the challenge we are giving ourselves at this training is trying to see the invisible, and setting the lines between the short-term plans and the long-term plans, so that we can move and just become a better person. So long-term plans or strategic planning is an intentional, you know, when it comes to planning, an intention has to be in place. You know, somebody says, if you don't plan your life, then you are living other people's plan, or other people will plan your life for you. So intention is it's like the root word for planning. There's an intention, there's a motive, there's a heart, there's a desire for something. So planning is the intentional design for accomplishing missions, goals in different areas of our lives. Strategic planning or long-term planning applies to the long-term building of successful relationships, organizations, and capital. Like I said, you know, planning is needed everywhere, even our relationships. I had to plan my relationship with my children. When they were growing up, my son, or our son, was really a fast grower. He was always ahead of his age. And at a certain time, I started noticing that it's changing. So I had to plan how I would relate to him And also I had to plan the kind of relationships I would love to have with my children when they are 15, when they are 25, when they are 30, when they are out, when they are already having their own families. Now I'm planning, I'm thinking about the kind of relationships I will have with my grandchildren, you know, if I live long enough to see them. So planning is necessary in every area of life. Long-term goals, plans, long-term goals are the focus of strategy. So basically what we are trying to do here is learning to see, you know, to see far. It's learning to have foresight and capture the future that nobody, that a lot of people cannot even grasp. And strategic planning is about having a full, of course, quoted full, and I quoted the full because only God has the full picture, you know, of everything. Yeah, but hiding under God, and you know, it's like this. I think in mathematics it's called, is it similar triangles? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's similar triangles. Like when you have a triangle like this, inside it you can also have a similar triangle. So God is the big triangle, yeah. So the base is the same, and you know, resting on that base, we can have our own kind of full picture of our life, or a fuller than what we have at the moment. Okay. I've spoken about it, but for the sake of those who will be listening to the teaching, many people find it safer to spend time on day-to-day planning than to move through strategic long-term choices, because it's a mental strain, it's work, and we find it easier just to take one day at a time, you know, and more so that we are Christians, you know, we just, the Bible says, don't be worried, don't be anxious. So you just, we wake up tomorrow and we'll leave. Okay. Our routines, they help us. I mean, when we now embark on this journey of planning, trying to see what we can do, or trying to see how we can play our part in the big plan that God has for us, studying our routines help us to start planning, or to plan our lives better. So taking note of our routines helps us to manipulate and finance the patterns of our life, which then in turn serves as the foundation for our plans for time management. Strategic planning is also part of time management, because when we plan our lives, we're planning our time, because time is life and life is time. So we are not planning out of the moon. We are not planning from nothing. You know, we plan from where we are and with what we have. So studying our regime now, our routine, will help us to see what we really want to have in our life, what we want to see in our life. Everyone has a routine. Some routines are more obvious than others, but we all have routine, and we all live in a 24 hours routine, and the circadian rhythms, everything works in a routine already. So trying to plan our lives and having plans, routine, what we do, when we do, and aspiring to reach more is normal, is within our cosmos, is already in place for living on the earth. Just like the body systems, they have plans to wake up, to stay awake, or sleep at specific times, and the body starts to secrete relevant hormones to fulfill those plans. It is the same with our spiritual plans. You know that sometimes you just feel it's time to sleep, because it gets dark outside, and it's not just outside, it gets dark inside you too. You just feel tired. In the morning, it's like you At least that's how it's supposed to be. It's like you wake up with the light, you know. The light comes on, the sun comes on, and you just know that it's time to wake up, you know. It's another thing if you wake up or if you don't wake up, you know. But the light comes to tell you it's time to wake up. And then it increases and it increases. I mean, the sun is coming out, and after some time it starts decreasing, telling you it's time to round up, and then it becomes really, really very dark. And that if not for civilization, we won't have been able to do anything, you know. We're able to live, live longer, I mean, within those 24 hours frame, because we have electricity, because we have water system in our buildings and a lot of other things. Otherwise, if we go back to the ancient time when there was no electricity, when people were using candles and lanterns, you can't do much, you know. So people hurry to work with their plans. I read in historical books that in those days, people, they wake up early because they needed to seize the opportunity of the light, you know. So because they know that it won't be there forever, they know that evening will come and they won't be able to do whatever they want to do. So they put themselves within those plans. And our system, I'm not a doctor, but I mean, there are a lot of information about how our organs also, how they wake up and how they sleep, you know. There are a lot of information. For example, how do you call it? Our intestines. What's that system in the body? Yeah, our digestive system. Thank you very much. Our digestive system secretes hormones. Not all the time, not 24 hours in a day. Yeah. Some people say it starts at 5 a.m. in the morning. Some people say 6, depending on your time zone. And that it stops secreting at around 5, 6, maybe later 7 p.m. I want to guess you've heard something like that, right? No? 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 Only me? No?
Not exactly about the time, but we know that the secret.
What about you, Mrs. Abiola? Have you heard? You are a nurse.
Yeah, I know that it's secret, but I've never heard about any that's active circular time it stops. But
Yeah.
it can, the system can slow down.
Okay.
Maybe not producing as it's used to.
Yeah, okay. So the information I heard is that, yeah, it's stopped to the extent that some people say, you know, like I said, I'm not a doctor, I've not done research on that. Some people say that if you eat late at night, that the food will just stay in your stomach and be waiting for the secretion in the morning before it can get digested. Again, these are just like hypotheses, like I told you. Yeah.
Because of inactivity of that time.
Yeah, because of inactivities or something like that. Yeah. So, but I think what I'm trying to convey is very clear, that, you know, planning is everywhere. It's inside us, it's outside us. So, and it's the same thing with spirit, and, you know, provision is made for our planning, because God planned it. You know, if what I just said is true to some extent, God planned it for us not to be eating all the time, right? For us to be able to sleep. I mean, so at least when we are sleeping. And another thing I see there is that God is not a God of waste, right? If we are supposed to be sleeping at a certain time, and I don't think anybody can sleep and eat at the same time. So, so it's like God then planned it in such a way that there won't be secretion when we are sleeping, you know. And another thing is working when we are sleeping, but that's not the topic, yeah, of today. But there is always provision for plans, and there will be provision for our plans, because before we start eating, you know, God makes sure that the hormones are there, so that when we eat, the food will not just be blotting in our tummy. It's the same way in the spiritual realm, you know, because anything we are going to planning our life is in the spiritual realm, because anything you can't see with your eyes is spiritual, right? It's invisible. So when we take time to plan, yeah, then provision will be made for our plans. Then things will be opening up. We'll start meeting people. I mean, little by little, gradually, sometimes massively, yeah. But because there is a plan already, you know, and, you know, also, I mean, in the psychological world, the life coaches, they call it the law of attraction, yeah, because something is already there, so it attracts what it needs. So when we plan well, the secretions will come at the appropriate time. Yeah, so that's also encouraging. The natural reaction is to make challenge or life challenges less daunting by turning it into a problem that can be solved with tried and tested tools. You know, the natural reaction is that when we have a problem, when we have a challenge, we try to find a ready-made solution. However, strategic planning is the result of a simple and quite rough and ready process of thinking through what it would take to achieve what you want, and then assess whether it is realistic to try. So another challenge that strategic planning is giving us is to try to be creative, to try to be different, because either we plan or we don't plan, we will live our life and we'll die, right? So, but strategic planning is trying to make us creators, you know, not to be using the ready-made answers, how people have been doing it, and just to sit down and then decide for yourself what you want, how you want it, and try to see if you can come out with something different, because it's your life, you know, you are free, of course, within normal frame, you are free to live it to the best of your understanding, to the best of your talents, gifting, to the best of your creativity. So when we take time to plan, then we are able to come out with something new, something different, something that is peculiar only to us. True strategy is about making hard choices. And that is in line with what I just said, you know, because we're living in a age, in a time when, I mean, there are a lot of advices, there are a lot of solutions, there are a lot of, to some extent, ready answers, ready solutions. But when we challenge ourselves and we say, no, I want to plan my life, you know, I don't want to live the life that my culture as planned for everybody. I don't want to just live the life my government as planned for everybody. You know, I want to add color to it. I want to add my taste to it. It's a hard choice. It's going against the trend. But I think that's why we're here. Even coming here for you is a hard choice, because I was just thinking about you having to buy your ticket, having to make time. You know, buying the ticket is not even the most challenging part of it, you know. Having to create time to come, then coming, and then sitting all day. I mean, those are hard choices, yeah. So I believe that you're already making part of those hard choices. So strategy should reach out outside the comfort zone. And I think that's already what we are doing. Also, perfection in strategic planning is an impossible standard. Yeah, perfection is an impossible standard. So we shouldn't be overtaken by trying to build a plan that is perfect. There is no perfect plan. Actually, from time to time, you will be correcting your plan, you will be changing your plan, you will be updating your plan, you know. So we are all moving towards perfection, and I don't think anybody can reach perfection on this earth. So just do your best, work with what you have, and then with time, you will see what to change. But there is no perfect plan in my own understanding. Okay. The objective of strategic planning is not to eliminate risk, you know, but to increase the probability of success. You know, we are living in risk. You know, living on this earth is risk. You know, anywhere you find yourself, you are risking. Whatever you do or you don't do, you are risking. You know, another name for our planning is risk. You know, risk is just everywhere. So we shouldn't have the illusion that, okay, now I will plan my life, you know, I will eliminate all the risk. I know what will happen in a year, I know what will happen in 2 years, I know what will happen in 3 years. Because those are some of the objectives that the anti-planning people have, that, you know, life is uncertain, why plan, you know. So, but it's very important for us to know and to be clear on this, that we are planning not to eliminate all the risk. Of course, we get some advantages. We are able to manage some risk better when we plan, but we won't be able to eliminate all the risk in life. But one thing we will do is to increase the probability of success, you know, the probability of success, you know. Also, I mean, that's a mathematical expression, you know, increase the chance of success. And this is very important because regardless of what we do, we are still not the ones in charge, you know. There's a God over us. And the good thing is God is for us, He's not against us. And when He sees our efforts, when He sees that we are trying, He always helps us, you know, direct us, correct us. But whatever we do is still probability, and that leaves a place in our heart to always remember God and to always commit our ways, to always commit our plans to God. The two must always go together. Okay, so what stops us from planning? Why doesn't everybody do it? Unfortunately, not everybody do it. It's not an easy thing to do, or it's not an easy thing to follow. So you need very determined, disciplined people first to write the plan and later to implement the plan. So the first objection that I would like us to examine today, and now we are going to be more practical, is to discuss these objections. I'm happy that we have the second microphone, and so I will advise you to be active. Otherwise, I will help you to be active in a very gentle way. So the first objection, and I will read it. I will read the first one. I will like. Actually, I think we can do it better. I think you can read it. That you read it and you comment on it, how you understand it. And if we have more contribution from the others, that would be very good. Yes, sir.
Objection number one: it may work for others, but it simply will not work here or for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some people will say, it may work for others, planning, but for me, no. So how will you explain that, or who would like to explain that? While we're thinking, let me read the other part of it. Everyone thinks that his or her environment, business has unique pressures and requirements that make any time management regime unworkable. And everybody thinks they are special. So what do you think about this? Do you think that's a strong objection? Do you think it has place? Please, can you pass the mic? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the objection could be, I mean, anything could happen in your life. So you might have some clear goals, you might have some clear plans. Like say, sometimes it could be the environment you're working in, something might happen in that environment. You could get an illness or something like that. So your plans could change on a, you know, on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. I know you're saying you might have a long-term plan and you will have challenges along the way. But, you know, I think by having a clear goal, but I think everybody's environment, everybody's challenge will always be different to everybody else's. And even sometimes I think even along the way you might change your plans because that plan that you were aiming for might not work, or because something's happened in your life, you think, right, okay, that's not going to work anymore, so you just change direction.
Yeah, but what will you, thank you very much for that, but what will you tell somebody that you're trying to motivate to start planning his or her lives, and the person says, planning doesn't work for me? No, it may work for you, but it doesn't work for me. So what will you tell that person? Yes, please take the microphone.
Yeah, I will just say that we should remember that the Word of God says that we are head and not the tail. And since we know that we are head and not the tail, that means we can function well on the high level. So we just have to put in our planning skill, develop that planning skill, make sure we have something planned so that we can follow. That will guide us to be able to function better. And then invest more time on that thing that we think is not possible. Because the more time we invest in anything, we get a better result. So I would just advise that person that, set up your plan, be conscious about it, make sure you follow it, because sometimes we just put a plan and we don't follow it through. So if we are able to do that and then put more time, we can achieve. And so we should not set a limit.
So you would tell the person that having that mindset is limiting. It's a kind of limitation, right? Yes. Okay. Sorry, she would like to say something.
I will also ask such a person if he or she has a goal. Because if you have a goal, there is no way you will not put a plan in place towards that goal. Okay. So I want to know if as such a person, I will ask, do you have a specific goal you are planning towards in life? And if he says yes, but I don't really need it, then I'm going to ask, how are you going to, what are the steps you're going to get to that goal?
That's brilliant.
I think I just want to say that it is a rule. It's a rule that's a standard for everyone in life. It's a rule of life, I would say. A standard rule that works for everyone. That's a part of life. If you don't plan, you will not live.
that's good. That's very good. That's very good.
Yeah, something in line with what she has said. For me, I think with respect to the first statement, the trap that most of us fall into is to always think that our situation or condition is unique and no other person has actually experienced it or gone through it. Because the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. So for me, if such a person, if you maybe tells you that, oh, planning doesn't work for me or it wouldn't work for me, then the first thing I'll try to do is to let the person see, like you said, that is a limiting thought, but also to show by example people who have been in his situation trying to accomplish what they want to accomplish and who actually planned to get there and actually arrived there. through planning. So it's just lead by example. If you yourself have not gone through what they've gone through, is to point them to people who have gone through what they are going through, and where they want to get to.
Perfect. You would like to say something?
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I would, if I come across such a person, I would like to present this scenario by telling him, you're going somewhere. For example, you want to travel to England, and you say you don't have a plan, because whatever you want to do, you're aiming at a destination, and you want to go to England, travel to England. You can't just wake up one morning and take your bag and get to the airport and ask where you're going and say, I'm going to England. It won't work. So if you're not planning, then you're planning to fail. So number one, you need to look for how to apply for a visa. You need to understand the process and all the papers, all the documents needed, and make an appointment. If you need to go for an interview, you have to go through that. Even after getting the visa, you need to plan, how am I traveling? You need to book a flight, you need to know the time, you need to plan how to get to the airport and who's going to pick you up and all that. So if you say you're not planning because it doesn't work for me, I will tell that person that you're just planning to fail. You know, you're going to fail woefully because it doesn't work like that. Planning is very important. But I've also noticed, even as Christians, most times we do things without planning. You know, we just jump and do it and just expect success. Sometimes fortunately we succeed, but most times, you know, we fail because we do not sit down to think, to analyze and compare and contrast and put things on ground on how that should, you know, we are going to achieve that. So it is very advisable, from what I'm learning, that is planning is very, no matter how small that task is, we need to plan. Thank you.
Thank you for your contributions. So let's move on. So still on the first objection, whether you work in the public or private sector, or a not-for-profit or non-profitable organization, whether you are a student, a homemaker, whether you are between assignments, a manager or an up-and-coming professional, no matter the activity you are involved in, there is someone somewhere who does it better or who have done it better. So there is always opportunity for improvement, advancement, and refinement. So it is up to you, to us, to identify how to make that happen. So the person that says it doesn't work for him, another way we can try to help that person is that there are people, just like Brad Chris said, there are people in your position but who have risen above, you know, who have grown professionally or in whatever they are doing, but they were able to do that through planning. I also think another good argument would be that if we take the statistic of successful people against unsuccessful people, almost all the successful people always prioritize and emphasize planning. Yeah, so that also would be a good point. And no matter where we are, you know, there are people who have done it better or who are doing it better. So we must be open, you know, to to trying new methods and see what will work better for us. Okay, let's have, can you read the second objection?
Objection number 2. I have no time to put together a plan.
Okay, so what do we do with that? Okay, Alan wants to say something. Very busy, no time.
It's quite simple, really. Just create time, don't you? Just create it. So you will make time to make a plan.
Very good, very brilliant. Yeah. Actually, you do have the time. It's just been assigned to other things. to other tasks. So we just need to tell the person to prioritize planning, that it will pay off later. Yeah, time is neither made nor found. It's simply rearranged, because we always have that 24 hours in a day, right? Much like the law of conservation of energy in physics, you know, energy is neither, it's never lost. Yeah. It's just converted from one form to the other. So you have to convert the time you need for planning from another thing you have. So, and just like Alan said, the point is time can be found when it is important enough. You know, people will always find time for what is important for them. You know, even if it's sinning or not sinning, you know, if it's important for them, they will push all other things behind, you know, and they do what they want to do. So I think we just have to motivate that person towards that. Okay, can we have you read it?
Okay.
Objection.
Objection number 3, fear of the unknown.
Okay, like for example, you're trying to encourage somebody to plan for, let's just say 10 years. The person will tell you, I don't even know where I will be.
It's true. It's true.
Any idea from the hall?
Fear of not knowing what's coming ahead of you can be an excuse. Oh, sorry. It can be an excuse that someone has, so they feel that they just have to take it day by day. But what we need to let them know that even though we don't know what's coming ahead, it's important for us to still have a plan, and that we shouldn't live our life based on fear of what we don't know is coming our way.
Yeah, because something is coming anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't know it, but we know it will come. Yeah. For example, now we are in 2019, right? And I mean, I remember. Let me try and remember a year that I remember. Okay, let me see. Okay, I remember the year 2000. Yeah, that was 19 years ago. Yeah. And if somebody, like that time, planning for 19 years ahead, somebody can say, oh, 19 years ahead, I don't even know where I will be. I don't even know how it will be. Yeah. And I remember 2000 because that was the year I gave birth to Zoe. And now here we are. It was unknown, but really every unknown is known spiritually. Yeah, we are the one that we are not seeing it. So I think we just need to reshape our mind that though it's unknown, but it's known because it's coming. It's coming anyway. Yeah, so that will help us to take advantage and capture it.
I think that is where faith comes in.
Yeah, especially for us as Christians. Yes. Please help us take the fourth one.
Okay. Objection 4, the fear of failure or of being seen to fail.
Yeah, those are 2 points actually, but yeah.
So basically,
do you recognize this objection? Does it have a place?
Yes. Because I see that sometimes when we're afraid to make plans, so that maybe when we put it down, we might fail to carry out that plan. So I think some of the reasons why people don't do plans, maybe sometimes myself, is that I'm fearful of...
And myself. We're all in it together.
is that if I make this plan, will I really accomplish it? So I think that it's true that we all have that fear that we deal with. And also being seen to fail. So let's just say that you tell someone, okay, this year we're going to do this. and then you feel like by saying that people will now see that, oh, you see, you didn't do what you said.
Or even each time you see that person, you will remember. You would like to add to it?
Yes.
Okay. Please take the microphone.
Yeah. I just want to say, I will advise that person that don't be afraid. Try Eh? Oh. Not doing it at all, I think that is a failure. Because if you never tried, you will not know that you can even do it.
That's true.
And then if you fail, then you learn from that. It will make you strong. I mean, stronger than whatever the knowledge you have. You want to search more and get more knowledge. So I'm always fearful. I'm a fearful person, but I will still try. Give it a try and see. Maybe I will learn new things from that.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so that I will add that the fear of failure. To that I will add that you, before planning, is different from you after planning. Even if you don't carry it out, you know, anything we do adds a kind of value to us. It could be minute, it could be, I mean, very visible, but before we do something, and after doing it, we are different. We are improved a little bit, right? That's it. The other thing is that we just treated the first part, that is the fear of failure. So how do we motivate somebody that is maybe it doesn't really care too much about the failure, yeah, but now cares more about other people's perception, how they see me, you know, like public opinion, you know. So how do we help somebody that is reluctant to do either planning or to carry out a venture, because for that person it's very important how people see him. It says of being seen to fall, being seen to fail, being seen to underperform. How can we help ourselves by helping other people?
I would tell the person that failure is part of life. That in every failure, you always have something.
So you would tell him, go ahead and fail.
I'll tell the person not to be afraid, to be seen as a failure, because failure is part of life. That there's no human being who has not failed in one way or the other. So the bottom line is, you need to try, you need to plan. Even if you fail, you're going to learn something from that failure. So it is important to not to be afraid, or you don't have to care about how people see you. But the fact remains, if you fail, don't remain there. Stand up. And as a Christian, I would say, even if you fall 7 times, still rise up, as the Bible says. So failure, I mean, the opinion of people should not determine what you have to do, determine your plan, you know, because everyone fails.
Okay. Can you pass the mic? You wanted to say something? Yeah.
I think for me, it all rests on our understanding, because that failure is something I've pondered on before. Our understanding of what failure is will determine how we respond to what people think about us. I have come to understand that I'm not really sure that there's something as failure, in the sense that failure is not failure until you decide to give up. So the fact that you are doing something and you are not achieving it yet doesn't mean you are failing. The only time you fail is when you conclude and you completely give up and say, no, this thing, I'm not doing it anymore. But even if you make that decision and you decide to even go back to do it, then it means you still have not failed until you achieve it. So I use like the famous agency that we talked about, because I was talking to somebody. I said, somebody asked me that question, what is failure? So I was saying that, look at Edison, for example. He performed an experiment for 1,000 times before he got the result. I said there are some other people who might have done the same thing for maybe 699 times. Maybe the answer was on the 1,000th time, but they got to 699 and decided, you know what, that is all. Now to that person, because he gave up, he had failed. Not that he failed for 699. It's not that he failed for 699 times. He was still trying, but immediately he gave up. He had failed, but Edith eventually got it. So if you have that understanding, it wouldn't matter what other people are saying while you are doing the 20th, the 30th, the 40th time trying. They will see it as you failing, but you know you are not failing because you know you have a goal you are achieving. So I think it all lies on our understanding of.
Brilliant. The hands are waiting for the microphone. The lady before you, Alan. Yeah, sorry. I know that you want to just wait. I love that passion. You know, yeah.
Two things I will say. One, be truthful. Let them know why you fail. If you really have to explain to them that you failed, you know, be truthful. Tell them what happened, and this is why I failed. Then work on yourself. You know, if the people that you really have to explain to, let them know that I will do it, you know, in another method. Let's see whether this thing can work out. And then I will say, don't beat up yourself. You know, if you depend on people's opinion, you will always be there. You will not grow. Keep busy. Focus. Go and get yourself better. And then, you know, you will come out of failure.
Thank you.
See, I've different terminology. So I've in the profession I've been in over the years, things that sort of stuck in my mind is it fail to prepare or prepare to fail. But I don't look as like my life is, you know, things that I've done has been a failure. I look at I've made mistakes, but then it's like you move on from that and you think, right, don't make the same mistake again.
So you said failure prepares us for life, right?
Yeah. So failure prepares you for life. So,
no, I'm just clarifying
yeah,
it so that everybody will understand.
Yeah.
Because of your British accent.
Okay. Yeah. So fail to prepare or prepare to fail. But then, like I said, I believe in that you make mistakes in life, and it's how you move on from that or how you react to that. But then there's an old saying you say, if you don't succeed, try again.
Perfect.
And you just keep trying and trying and trying.
Awesome. Do we have any other? Okay, we'll continue. To that, I will also say that if somebody tells me is afraid of being seen to fail, then I will tell the person, but what if you succeed? What if you succeed? You don't know. That's number one. Number two, because you are so concerned about failing, then direct that energy to planning and executing your plan in such a way that you will reduce the probability of failure. You know, like, you know, taking precautions, you know, when, you know, somebody is very afraid, you take precautions to increase your chances of succeeding. And the third thing I would say is that I think our generation is more lenient to failure than it was before. You know, our generation is more lenient to failure. You know, when we were discussing this, what came to my mind is the royal family, the monarchy in England, and the Meghan and Harry's wedding. You know, Meghan, will you say she's still a divorcee, right? Yeah. Divorcee. What was the other thing? I think this is. Yeah, no, well, blacks would, yeah, but you know, before they wouldn't have allowed, you know, a royal person to marry a divorcee, yeah, and I mean, it's in the history, you know, people have to abdicate the throne for that, and now, you know, our generation is more lenient, and she's not the only one that has failed. You know, a lot of other people, and our generation is encouraging people that have failed to rise up, to try again, not to give up on themselves. So I think if we have such a person, I think we'll be able to help the person to try and see it in a different way, and to know that we are living in a time that it's more, yeah, you will still find some few people that will say some things, but the loudest voices will be those who are saying, we're happy you wrote about it, try again, just like if you fail, try again. So that's very good. Okay. Miss Pro.
Objection 5 takes some of the fun out of life. Okay, as in planning, takes some of the fun out of life.
Yeah, planning, implementing it. Yeah. What do you think? Does that have a place?
For me, sometimes I think maybe it's your personality. I'm a serious person, so, so when he says takes some of the fun out of life, I find it difficult to relate to that.
Okay.
But I can imagine maybe my son, for example. He's 25, and you're trying to pin him down to plan his life, and he feels like you are taking some of the fun out of his life. He's not interested. He wants to live, you know, as how he wants to live. You know, he can't. He doesn't want to look at the future and put himself down and plan. You know, and that is very, very difficult sometimes to get your, I would say, adult children, because he is an adult at the end of the day, to buckle down and to plan. But I think for me, even when I was young, I've been a serious person, and fun, as in what people call fun when they're young, was not something that I found, you know, interesting. So yeah, sometimes maybe it might be your personality as well. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
Okay. So, and I'm just going to speak for myself now. I'm a serious person as well, but I've never understood the importance of planning till now. But looking at planning, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So this is me just speaking for myself, because if I have a goal and I understand that 75% of achieving that goal is actually taking out time to plan, why wouldn't that be fun? You know, so that's just me speaking for myself.
So it's more about understanding, right?
I think I agree with him. If you're
I agree too.
If you're a serious person, you see planning, because I enjoy planning, right? Even though now I'm beginning to have a deeper understanding of planning and how to do it. I enjoy planning, but I've been in a relationship with people, even like my wife, for example. They are very spontaneous. As in, they just like want to just get into doing things and just enjoy the process of doing it without even thinking of having a thought about it. So such a person, if you tell them, no, let's plan, say, come on, you don't even know, like you said, you don't know what will happen in the next 2 years. Let's just do what we have to do now. They are always thinking of now, they are not thinking of the future. So people who think of now will think you are trying to stress out their life, asking them to plan. But if you are the type that focuses more on the future, then you want to plan for that future. I think it's just like you said, it's a personality thing. People are more spontaneous than some other people. You know?
Yeah.
Then why are people failing then? Why are people not planning if it's fun?
No, I mean for serious-minded people.
Because
very few.
They stand up.
84% don't even plan. They don't even have no goal. So if it's fun, me, I don't see the fun in it.
Yeah, I think the front part is more for young adults, for adolescent people, for young people, you know, those who don't have the understanding of life. Yeah, but I think what we can tell them is that if they continue like this, yeah, they will regret the fun they are having after some time. Yeah. So I think we can try to help them by telling them to extend the fun and to have a life full of fun, like you said, that they should invest. But because if they're not investing now, yeah, they will regret later, at a later age, when it won't be as easy to do anything. That this is the time. No, I mean, they need the fun. We must understand that they need the fun. It will be very difficult to just plan, be serious like I am, but we still have to encourage them to invest some of the time they are spending on fun, you know, in their future, in planning, trying to help them. Because, you know, in the brain formation, I think, I can't remember the exact age, but there's something that is not, and that thing in the brain is has to do with making serious decisions, making good decisions. There's a part of the brain that is responsible for that, but in adolescents, in young people, it's not formed to the end. So we see them as tall, we see them as hefty, and we wonder why they are like this, but it's like they have no brain, you know. It's because certain connections are not formed until I think 21 or 22 or something like that. And I experienced that with my children as well, because you know, I'll be trying to tell them something. They will be looking at me as if I'm from the dark age. You know. I explain. It's all okay, but they will go out and do their own thing. Yeah, and I know that. I mean, they are not doing. They try to get it, but they are not getting it because it's not connecting. Yeah, because it's not. So we just need to keep on trying, helping them, showing them examples of people who have gone through it, motivating clips. But still, we must know that they need the time. So we should encourage them to do something, but we shouldn't also take the fun away from them, because then they will be aggressive. Yeah.
Some fun have to go.
Yeah, some fun has to go.
They don't like to give up all.
Yeah.
But I have
your mic
already.
Your mic, please.
Sorry. When you say live this, live that, and focus on this, they feel like you're caging them.
Yes, absolutely.
You know? So. But when they see the importance, they see the outcome, they will say, oh, what you said was true. So I think, okay, we can't deprive them completely of the fun, but some fun have to be out of the way.
Yeah, and it's difficult to deprive them of all the fun now in our age. Yeah. Computer, internet, they will be telling you they are doing their own work. You know, everything now is on the internet. Yes. So you don't know, as soon as you disappear, they are doing their own thing. So it's very, so I think it's still about communication, it's still about checking, it's still about just trying to find the rapport with them. Yeah. You wanted to add something?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, Pastor Bose, when you were explaining the brain of young people, and I was thinking that, okay, so for the adults, most of us adults that don't plan, what's wrong with our brains? has it not formed properly? Because because it's strange, but I mean, when I was married, for us to plan was such a. I should stand up. Oh, sorry. So when I was married, for us to plan was such a big issue. Just to sit down and say, where do we want to be in the next 10 years? How do we want our finances to look like? How do we want what are the plans for the children? It was such a big problem. We just couldn't even, and therefore, because of that, because we were not able to plan, we didn't also achieve anything. Yeah. Because we were just living, it's the day, today, no savings, no planning. Are we going to do this? The kids just, you know what I mean? So I don't know whether, so for the adults that don't want to plan, whether it's brain formation. Please explain that for me.
She wants to explain. Can you stand up? Yeah? Should she stand up?
Well, I would say for us adults, sometimes that we don't plan, it's not that we don't have the brain to plan. For some of us that are in the Western world, some of us, we work hard, but we end up living from paycheck to paycheck. So even if we sit down and say, okay, let's think of where will be the next 5 years, the next 2 years, what plans we have for the children. By the time we zero it down to the resources that is coming into the family, you find out that we just give up. Because you want to, any plan you want to make, you want to also look at savings. What can I put aside? How long is it going to take? But when it's so limited, by the time Uncle Sam takes all that he wants to take, at the end of the day, it's so difficult. So you find out that even if you make a plan, you don't just even follow it. Yeah. So.
Okay, Alan wants to help us out.
Yes. I think the best thing you can do is, all you can do is show them a good example and just encourage. That's the best thing you can do. I think once you start forcing things on people, on children, they just resist.
Yeah, there is a... Yeah.
And I think if you just go in about, like, you know, this is what I'm doing, this is what I've achieved, I think they'll just tend to think, oh, that's how it's done. And it's just encouraging, yeah. Rather than putting pressure on and forcing them.
Yeah, no pressure. Not too much pressure. Some pressure, but not too much.
I think that we are the best role model. That if we are happy, so they look at us. Oh, you plan and you have this.
Achieved it.
Yes, and I think our role model is Jesus, who was the most happy of them all, yes. And he really planned for his life.
Yes.
So I think when you have a plan, you can relax. Because Jesus speaks about going in these completed works. How do we go in the completed works? We do it by planning.
That's true.
And then we have plan, so we can relax, I think. And then we can enjoy.
Yes, we can enjoy, yes.
Yeah, I just want to say, with response to what our sister said, I used to think that way. And I used to plan that way.
You used to think that the Western world won't allow you, right?
Yeah,
the challenge is...
Yes, I used to think that you had to plan based on the resources that was coming in. Not only thinking that I was doing that until I read Stop Working for Kusam. And my pattern of planning changed. You don't, in fact, your dependence on your resources is the more reason why you should plan. Now you now start to plan how to not depend on your resources and say, okay, in the next 2 years, if you are receiving a certain amount now, what would you like to receive, to be earning in the next 2-3 years? And what would you start doing from today?
What would you need
What would you need to do to start to get to that place where you start earning a certain amount? Then you now start working towards that to get out of that cage of, okay, I can only plan with the limited resources that I have. It was a big challenge for me for a long time until the whole thing started changing. Because I was the one that always used to say, you plan with what you have. Always plan with what you have. Even if you are thinking of the future. And if you plan that way, you discover that something that will have taken like just 2 years to achieve, your resources will limit your thinking to achieve it in 10, 15 years, because you are saying, okay, I can only get this amount in the next 5 years. So you plan it towards 5 years. But just dish all that aside. Just start from a blank page and say, look, this is where I am. This is where I want to be. What do I need to do to get there? And you now start doing it.
Awesome. My contribution to the brain formation question would be this. The brain, it's like the coordination center of everything we do, and everything we do as humans is connected to the brain, yeah? And at the same time, it's a very delicate organ. And I think because of its function, I think, this is my hypothesis, I think it's a stable organ in the body because of the role. It's like a stabilizer, coordination, stabilizer. It has a lot of functions. So I think so, and also from what I've seen, it's not easy to change the brain. It takes time. So I think every adult, they already have all the development intact. But if we don't use any part of our brain, right, they remain dormant. You know? And even, you know, waking them up, what I would call waking them up, you know, how do you say it? It takes time. So that's why even we, that it's like we are, you know, working on ourselves, we are working on our self-development, self-improvement. It takes time. You have to listen to the same thing almost 100 times before you finally start to understand, you know. So first, so it's lack of information. Yeah, we have it, but if you didn't see planning in your own family, if you are not exposed to it from a very early age, and I mean, if you are not exposed to the environment, yeah, you can do it, but you didn't know. And hearing it 1 or 2 times, even 10 times, is not enough. Yeah, so it takes a lot of, that's what the Bible says, renewing a lot. That's why if you want to do something, if you already know what you want to do, you have to listen, you practice it a lot of time, because it takes time for the brain to change again, because it's not a small organ in the body. Yeah, it's a very important organ in the body. So changing it, it takes a lot of effort. Yeah, and you know, pardon? Yeah, persistence. That is to change it if you are doing something not in that direction, and also to activate it. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, we have a lot of things there, but to activate it also is because again, this is just my hypothesis, because the brain has other very quick, important functions, yeah, to perform. So it's like we really have to convince the brain that we are serious before it has that to the operational memory, you know, because all the things we are talking about, for us to function in them, they have to become part of the operational memory. Yeah, all these things we have there maybe in the long memory somewhere there, but then we have to bring them out, and it takes time. Okay, so we can go ahead. Your name again? Edire. What does that mean? Oh, so it's a Yoruba name?
It's Delta.
Delta, Edire. Okay. Is it Edire? Edire. Edire. Okay. We'll try. Please, can you read that?
All right. Objection 6. I work better under pressure. A last-minute kind of person. Ooh.
Yeah, there are people like that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially students. And I know my kids, especially my son, when it's, you keep on him, study, you know, but always trying to give you one reason or the other, teenager. But when it comes close to the exam, oh my God, I have to study. I say, so you prefer to do it under pressure. So I think that's an example I know.
Yeah, so how can we help those kind of people?
For me, I always try to tell them from the beginning of the session, as soon as you start, you have your schedule, try to read an hour every day. I've always told them that every time I come back from work, have you done your hour every day? So we've been working on that goal, even though when you are not there with their internet and everything, but we've been working on it. So I try to encourage them to try to do an hour every day. I'm not saying don't watch your whatever, but there's time for everything. That's always the language I use. There's time for everything. If you don't plan it, like I always tell my son, I said, whatever you put in, is what you're going to get out.
Absolutely.
So it's his reason sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You know, I work better under pressure. I am a last minute kind of person, but I'm trying to relate this to the Africans. Because I've noticed even here, we do things at the last minute. Is it peculiar to us?
Yeah, in Ukraine?
No, in
the
diaspora,
West.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like, we like to do things late. Africans. Like, where I'm in Germany, if you see people who are running to catch the train, you see it will be Africans on the bus. So we like that last minute. So it's like I don't know if it is peculiar to us, like we like doing things at the last minute.
Do you think we like it?
No, I'm not. I don't know.
I don't think they like it.
No,
Because it's
that's
just
just the last option. I mean, after that, nothing more.
Yeah, I mean, because Africans come last minute, getting the bus or appointment, you see them running at the train station, you see them running, you just know that it's the last, so I'm wondering if this is not really related to us, that we need to work on.
You mean if it's genetic?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Because when I came newly to Germany, at least I tried to work on myself on that before coming. So the church I worked with, the first rehearsal, I was there like 30 minutes to the time, but the people came 1 hour after. So that was, I was wondering, in Europe, how can people come to program 1 hour after? And church service like that. Even at our church, we had majority Africans, they were always coming late. 1 hour or 30 minutes late. So, and I preached all kind of message. it did not work.
My mind just went back to a period in Nigeria. I think it's something that has not been inculcated in us from childhood. We've lost it somewhere. I remember when Buhari used to be a military leader back then in Nigeria, where he actually brought in war against indiscipline. You could see that after some time, the discipline was not really coming from external anymore. It was already inculcated on the internal, that you see people just behave themselves. They queue up, they are always on time, they don't litter the floor, not because they were scared. At first, yes, they were scared to be arrested, but later it became a part of life. So I think it's something that is, if it's inculcated, like we look at Europe today, it was never like this. Nobody was born into it. You understand? It all started by inculcating it into them, and generation after generation, it just became a part of life. When you are born into a situation, that's all you know, and that's all you grow up with. But Africans, we've been born generation after generation into a chaotic environment, either because of war, because of genocide and all that stuff, and we just grow up with it. So it will take a lot of discipline. Like if you start implementing it in your own home, you discover that your children will be behaving differently from other children outside. But collectively as a society, we are still, that's why we have African time, Nigerian time. It is always late. So I think it's a cultural thing that has not been inculcated.
You want to say something? Alan? Yeah. Alan, of course.
Because I think sometimes working under pressure, I think sometimes you get like an adrenaline rush. Some people like working under pressure. I know I have in the past, but I think the long-term health of that is probably not good for you, not good for your blood pressure. But I do believe in the society we are in now, with the way we live, everything's sort of fast-paced. There's deadlines has to be met, So that is just the the society we live in today. That's just the world we live in. Everything is just at such a fast pace, and I don't think that's ever going to change. And I think it's just the way the world is.
Yeah, I think somebody mentioned the health part of it, because let me see if I have something there. Okay, nobody really works better under pressure. Since pressure immobilizes higher brain functions and replaces them with fight or flight reflex. Pressure instills mental paralysis. So I think, again, it needs educating people about the benefits of not being a last-minute person, the confidence that you have when you are prepared, the confidence you have when you arrive at a place 15 minutes before the time, and the bad consequence of that last-minute rush, because they come at a big price, pacing, rushing, and even the resentment and the frustration and the disappointment you get when you don't catch the bus, Most of the time you catch it, but sometimes you won't catch it and you feel mad at yourself, the consequences at work and at place and things like that. So I think when we tell people that you are paying a high price for working under pressure, and you won't be able to do that for long. I don't see you won't be able to do that for long. It may contribute to a heart condition or something like that. So I think if we educate people, about trying to manage their health, manage their time, and the benefits it would provide for them, maybe we'll get a better result. And also we spoke about Africans in diaspora, and we have a lot of issues, and but I think we that we are discussing this today, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility because we talk a lot, we have a lot of conferences, which is good because talk must go on, and as you talk, ideas will come. But I think at least we that are here, we have a responsibility to be role models. To be role model, to create our own group, to create our own world. Because it's really very tempting, to go to a place and you will be the only person there. But I always advise that it's better you go and leave earlier than also saying nobody will come on time, so I will not also come on time, because that's what everybody is saying. Everybody is saying nobody will come on time, nobody will. So who will now be that first person that will come on time? And because of time management, so you just allocate the time you want to spend in an event. You go there on time, so it's better to leave 30 minutes after it starts, if they are late for 1.5 hours. Because we also have to break that in ourselves and be role models, and don't allow our environment, what other people are doing, to influence the decision and the promise we have made to ourselves. So we actually are responsible for that, because somebody must start the movement, and it shouldn't be a movement of, oh, you are not doing it, you are not doing it. We need role models, we need people that will do it, so that people will start saying, but she is also an African, he's also an African, because it's like everybody is doing it, so there's no room for change. But as more people will be doing it, and more people in executive positions, because if a leader, if a pastor comes to church on time, it will be easier to convince other people to come. But I remember that even at home, even not just in the religious sector, even in the private sectors, work starts maybe at 9, but do directors come to work at 9? No, no.
I think it's the value we place on time. If we understand how valuable time is, to the extent to which you understand the value of time is to that extent that you will want to manage time. One other thing I notice is even foreigners have come to learn or understand that Africans generally don't have value for time, and they don't keep time. And I say because of one experience that happened. I booked an appointment with a guy, an estate agent, to come view a flat I wanted to move into, and I had several appointments. So I had already planned my movement for that day. So we booked an appointment for 10, And 5 minutes to 10, I was there waiting for him. And 10 on the dot, he wasn't there. 5 past 10, so I called him. Where are you? Oh, I'm coming. Don't worry, I'll be there. I said, in the next 5 minutes, if you're not here, I will leave because I have other appointment. And 5 minutes later, he wasn't there, and I left. I was going. So when he came, he didn't meet me. He now drove down, and I saw him. He said, where are you going to? I thought you would be there. I said, but I told you 5 minutes. He said, but it's just 10 minutes now. And I said, is that? I said, and I told him, I said, 10 minutes. So you mean 10 minutes is not valuable to you? If 10 minutes is not valuable to you, it's valuable to me. The shock on his face was like, you're a black guy. Why are you talking like that?
Why are you speaking grammar?
Yeah, you understand? So they have this mentality that, a cousin of mine was planning the birthday for her child. She put, I think, was it 1 o'clock on the invitation card.
Yeah, okay.
By 1:30, by 12:30 to 1, they were still there hanging balloons and all that stuff. By 1 on the dot, guests started coming, but all the guests that were coming were whites. None of the blacks were there. And the whites were coming, I'm like, what's going on? Everything was still empty, they're still arranging the seats. He said it dawned on her for the first time that her time management was completely not there. That, okay, they now hurriedly started the program with the whites helping, arranging the seats and all that. But the blacks actually came 2 o'clock, 2:30 for an event that was to start 1 or 1:30. So it's a very bad image that we have, and we must tell ourselves the truth. We must tell ourselves the truth. When it comes to time, nobody has respect for Africans or blacks because they just believe that you don't keep time. It's very bad. But one funny thing about that is that they are never late for interviews.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Because they value it. So when their interview is 9, they are there 8:45 waiting to enter the interview room. But when it's for something else, they just I think it's value that we have. We don't understand value.
It's value, it's understanding. Okay, number 7. Leave, right?
When I need to, I just work harder. Hard work equals more work.
So what do you think? So somebody says, I don't need to plan. I mean, when I need to work less, I work less. When I need to work more. And hard work equals more work. How can we help a person like that? Alan?
It's like what someone said earlier on. You know, the more you put in, the more you get out.
Absolutely.
But then there's always that work hard, work smart, and time management. And you know, if you put the effort in now, or you put the time aside now, that gives you more time to think, other things that you want to do. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even say that's an objection. Really.
But would you agree that hard work equals more work?
Not really.
Not really. Not all the time.
It's all about working smart.
Yeah. Smart work.
And using your time effectively.
Smart work equals more work, right? Yeah. Hard work without planning is like chopping a tree with a dull axe. Huge amounts of energy go misspent. And sometimes it will not yield any product at all. You cannot make bread twice as fast by putting in twice as much yeast or by setting the oven twice as high.
That's true.
Okay?
Yes.
Iggy?
Yeah.
Iggy.
I'm already organized and I am doing just fine. I have a system.
You look like that, Iggy. You got the right number. how can we contribute to such a person who is already organized, who knows everything? Alan.
You know, if you're already an organised person and you've got a system that works, why change it? You know, if it's working for you and you're successful.
But it doesn't have a plan. It's organized, but it doesn't have a plan.
Okay, so interesting. Okay.
Because we are talking about objections to plan.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, you might be organised, you might be efficient, but yeah, as long as you've got a plan in place, so you still need to have a plan to contribute with everything else that you want to achieve.
To become better.
Yeah, okay, to complement everything that you're trying to do. So you might be organised, you might be smart, you might be clever, but if you don't have a plan in place, then the same thing. Plan. What did I say earlier on? Was it plan to fail, fail to plan? That was the,
yeah.
Okay, that's where I was coming from. Thank you.
Okay. Now this objection definitely talks to me. Definitely. So right from a very young age, I'm the first of 4 children, and I had the responsibility of taking care of my younger ones. I consider myself extremely organized. I mean, I know I'm extremely organized, but that became an illusion for me, because up until now, I didn't know being organized didn't mean planning. You know, so I'm extremely, the way I put my things, the way I think about things, the way I do things, I'm extremely organized, but I don't plan. I never have planned. And so it's not the same thing. You just have to plan. You must have the goal in your head. You must write it down, because that's 75% of what you need to do. Yeah. Thank you.
I've seen it that you're organized.
I think for me, what I would do is ask the person, what are the results of your being organized? Because if you are organized and you don't plan, the chances that you have results will be very slim. So it's to ask, what are the results of you being organized?
But not planning.
Yeah, but not planning. If you can't show me any result, then I'll tell you, okay, that's the missing link. You're planning.
You would like to say something?
Well, yeah, I would say that Kazi said that it's organized. Yeah, we're in the same room. I've seen when he opened his box, I saw everything was. And you see our boxes.
Our boxes are from Africa. Awesome. Okay. All right. If you are organized already, if you have a system, that's great. Congratulations. Still, there is always opportunity for improvement. Note any feelings or resistance you may feel towards continuous improvement, and assess whether your argument can be countered or whether your current way of doing things is adequate. So it's still about having an open mind. You know? And because as long as we are alive, there's still room for improvement. Yeah. Number 9, that goes to Ola.
Objection number 9. Spontaneous personalities tend to dislike the discipline that formal planning brings. That's true. But I'm not spontaneous.
We're not talking about you.
Yes.
We're talking about us.
Yes.
Talk to us, speak to us, help us.
People that are spontaneous don't...
They lack the discipline.
They lack the discipline. They don't want to be, if you like...
put in a frame?
They don't like to be put in a frame to... Yes, they don't want to write anything down. They've got it all sorted in their heads, and tend to decide, they dislike the discipline that formal.
So maybe just showing them the discipline part of it and what they get from planning.
The benefits.
Yeah, the benefits
of planning, and yes, it'll help them to achieve perhaps more than spontaneity.
Yeah, just having more balanced
Yeah.
life and maybe better,
Yes,
maybe
that's-
better results.
That's what I think.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. We spoke about that in some way because some of the points are interrelated. Okay, Sister Biola.
Objection number 10, not knowing how to go about the process.
That is the process of planning. They don't know how to plan or what. They don't know the structure, the context of planning.
They should first of all know if there's anything like planning. And if they're able to understand that there's planning, then they can seek help, from maybe somebody that you like, that you have seen have done anything successful. You can
Or
ask.
from the internet.
Or
It's
from
all
the-
over.
It's all over.
No, it's all over. Yeah, self-help
And
books.
be ready to
Or get a mentor,
Yeah.
Okay, Alan wants to help too.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, just coach people, give them guidance, show them how to do it. But like you said, self-help books.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good. 11.
Failure to appreciate the needs to manage differently.
That is, some people don't plan because they don't appreciate that planning is another way of managing from how they've been doing it before. It's a different style of management.
Okay.
You want to help?
Oh, no, sorry.
we have trained Alan. Okay, Igor wants to help.
Let me say something like when we plan and we fail, we tend to think that we are not successful and we cannot do it. But when you plan and you fail, you appreciate that you actually plan and you fail will make you to begin to think and do things differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I just wonder if you have seen skiers.
Just closer, yeah.
Yeah. If you have seen downhill skiing.
See, you're very tall. Can you see? You can see that.
Yeah. Yes. Hello. Skiing downhill. Have you seen the doers in downhill?
The doers in downhill?
Yeah, downhill. Skiing.
Skiing.
Yeah.
Skiing, yeah,
Have you seen
yeah.
it?
Okay.
Before the race, they stand, visualize the whole road, the whole the whole area
Mhm.
they want to go through. So they remember every pass, every corner
Before the competition.
Before the competition.
Mhm.
So they so prepare for the race that they have in their mind every corner,
a visual
every,
memory.
yeah, everything. All the competition do it.
Yeah.
Why? So just why do they do it? Because if they don't,
the chances
to go for make a mistake is
very
yeah.
high. So you will liken that to planning, right?
Yes,
because planning is
we
like
have-
having a visual of how we want, where we are going, imagine it in our mind, a visual picture.
Mm. Just one question: why do they do that? Because they don't want to fail. They don't want to miss the game.
Mm.
And if they do that, why shouldn't we do it? We don't either like to fail. We don't to make a success.
Yes. And that's a very great contribution from you now, because I see that also as part of the preparation for the race. And also we are living. So if we refuse to plan, that means we are not preparing well for life. We are trying to cut the corners. Is that what they call it? Yeah. We are not doing our best. We are not preparing well for life. That means we accept the chance of failing, because they did that because they want to increase their chances of winning. So they do everything they could do. So if planning has a probability of increasing our chances of winning in life, you know, or getting more out of this life, then why shouldn't we do it? Just like you said. You've been quiet, but this one thing you said is big, bro. Thank you. You have a wonderful husband, Liv. He talks once in a while, but is very strong. You listen, yeah. You should listen. It's quiet, but one time he takes the mic and he wins. He wins. Please, Sister Abiola would like to say something.
Yeah, I just want to support what Mr. Ege said, because I've had that example in I have the same, something similar in my home. My husband will plan and put everything in the book and in detail. I will put my own plan on my head. And then at the end of everything, he will achieve, there will be a great result. And I'll be like, oh, I thought, you will say, I told you, always put something down. When you put it down, you will never forget, and you will even do more. So practice will give you more results from what you just said.
Yeah, but a strong impression I got from what he said is planning is preparing. It's part of preparing. It's like, you know, who does something without preparing, especially if you want to achieve, if you don't just want to go through life. And that is in line with what Paul said, that I'm not running like any other person, you know, I want to win. Yeah, so if I need to discard some things, I discard them. If I need to go before the race, if I need to sleep somewhere in the desert to know all the corners, because I want to win. So what it brought to this discussion is that we should see planning as a necessary preparation to life, if we really, and then it increases our passion for success. We know why we are doing it. So that's very strong. That's very strong. Okay, who is next? You are not. You've done yours, right? Okay.
I can't even see from here.
Okay.
Okay. The dissatisfaction over plans that never get implemented. If you don't plan, it can be implemented, and you will be dissatisfied from not planning to achieve a good result.
No, there's people that are against planning. People that are trying to tell you that you don't really need to plan. And one of their arguments is that you get bad feelings because by planning and not doing it. You know, you hear people saying, what's the point in writing it down? When you are not going to do it anyway. So how can what will you tell those kind of people?
So already I will tell those groups that already you have planned to fail because you don't plan, you cannot achieve any positive or successful result without planning. So already, if you don't plan, you have already planned to fail.
Okay, thank you, thank you. There are hands over there.
Yeah, I mean, we use a terminology in the UK where what we call it. You do it off the cuff, so you blag it, and which I've done quite a lot. But I think the thing is with blagging something or doing something off the cuff is you are doomed to failure in the end because you can only get away with it so long. So it's short success, not long-term success. So that's why it's important that you should plan, implement plans.
Thank you.
I mean, I can understand that sentiment actually.
Can you move this side? Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay. Good.
So I can understand that sentiment because pretty much every year I'll put my fitness goals. and yeah, and sometimes I wonder whether I should keep putting it down and planning it because I never follow through, you know. I have good intentions and I can plan it to the T, but I never follow through. But it doesn't stop me from putting it down because I just feel that if I don't make those plans, I will never achieve it anyway. But interestingly, the more I keep looking at it, the more I want to do something about it. And so the more I actually start looking at aspects of my life that maybe don't help me, let's say, to achieve it. So let's say I want to do exercise, maybe 30 minutes every day. What are the things that are stopping me? I've actually had to sit down and think about it. Is it because I'm leaving, my work is very far, 2.5 hours to travel, so I'm leaving very early and I'm returning very late, and so therefore I'm really tired? Is my health that important to me, you know, because I am the golden goose at the end of the day. If the golden goose doesn't lay the egg, then there'll be no eggs. Absolutely. You know, so but I really kind of identify with people that will say that, you know, they don't want to plan because, you know, maybe they have made plans and they haven't followed through. But for me, I just think that I will still put it down because if I don't, then I'm never ever going to achieve it. You know, and I'm not prepared to quit, so therefore I'll put it down.
Yeah, because if you stop putting it down, then that means you're accepting defeat.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's your turn.
It's going. Okay, you've not spoken. Okay.
Okay. Objection number 13. Having seen plans forced on people without opportunity for input and discussion.
This is more like in a group, in a team. Yeah. That's what we're going to do.
Okay. I think having group discussions is always good because everyone has different ideas, everyone has a different, different input. And even though sometimes you're all trying to achieve the same goal, by having that, as they say, knowledge is power, and knowledge shared or information shared or experience shared is very important. If you're trying to achieve a team goal or even a personal goal, I think having influences that have experience that around you is very key.
Okay. To that I will say this, that there are, especially if you have an authority over you. And to that I would say that that should teach you how not to do it when you become the one in charge, right? Because this is a case where maybe a department or a plan came from the top without discussion, without giving you opportunity for input. But still, that's not a good reason to have resentment, or to have a negative view about the plan. It's just a learning curve. It's just a learning moment that, okay, when you become the CEO, then make sure you have everybody's input, because it's not every time you can have that. You know, sometimes we are not able to put ourselves in other real situations to see. So that means, I mean, in that case, when you see that maybe somebody over you is doing something that without your input, no problem, do it, but note it when you become the leader, and if that's your passion. Another thing we can see from that is that that is showing that that person's passion is that person is a relationship person. You know, it loves, because for other people, actually what they want is the plan. Just tell me what to do. I mean, don't call me to the meeting. Yeah. So it's showing the personality of the person. It's showing the passion of the person. So because it's not every time we will have opportunity to have our own input or to add our own voice. It's not all the time, you know, there are hierarchies, but at least we will know that, okay, when I become, or if it was me, you know, that I would have organized a meeting, I would have asked how people feel about it, what they could contribute to that. So in hard cases like that, there's still room to move forward and just note that. Yeah. And you will always remember that, because since you didn't like it, so normally if somebody is working on himself, when he gets into a higher position, he notes the mistakes of his successors and brings a better management. So that's what I would say to that. Okay, we'll soon have a break. Yeah, and Pastor Natasha is coming. Are you aware? Pastor Sunday is coming. Okay. All right. Objection number 14. We have to start again from Chris. Oh, actually, we can. Let's do something different. Yeah. Number 14. I don't know if your site will allow you to say it.
Okay. Some people want to avoid the accountability that formal planning brings.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's tough, huh?
Some people want to avoid the accountability that formal planning brings.
Formal planning is already like a corporate planning. It's already not your personal, you know. So everybody knows about it. Everybody sees it. You have deadlines.
You have deadlines to achieve to achieve your aims. So
it's tough. Yeah. Alan will help you. He's right by your side. It's right by your side. If I have to be in this class, I would sit by your side.
I think that's a tough one, because some people don't like taking accountability for themselves, because that's a pressure in itself. Because if they make a mistake, it's a tough one. Accountability is a tough one, and I think everybody in life has to take accountability for himself at some stage, whether that's in your personal life or whether that's in workable life. But I think sometimes if you encourage people or empower people why they should take accountability, then you might get a different response. Because sometimes the old adage is management by fear. If you're pressured to do something, you're management by fear. That's a fear factor. But if you're encouraged or empowered, and when people understand there's a reason behind of why you should take accountability for yourself, A, it's part of growing up, and B, it encourages you to better yourself or improve yourself.
So I was going to say that looking at it from another angle, right? Yeah. Not just from the monster side of it, seeing accountability. Actually, it needs to be converted to a positive energy. Yeah. Like I have an experience before when I started becoming a leader. People would ask me for something. it's something I can't do immediately, and they will ask me, should we call you back to remind you? But my pride wouldn't allow me to say you can come. I said, no, I will do it, I will remember. So, and I noticed that those things, when I was offered help, that should we call you back to remind you? And I said, no, I can. No, I'm a smart. Yeah. So it happened that I often forget those things. Yeah, and after that, I would feel bad until I got some senses. Yeah. And anytime somebody offered me that, should we call you back? I said, please call. Now I say, please. And not only that, sometimes when I'm working with somebody, I myself ask the person, if you don't hear from me by this time, please call back to remind me. Yeah. So that's because we want to get something done. We realize our how do you say, limitations? Yeah. Yes. So any help I can, in my understanding now, after my experiences, I accept any good help I can get. Reminders, this, that, to help me do what I need to do. So I think we just need to show, like you said, Alan, we just need to show this person the positive side of accountability. And it's a formal structure. We are trying to achieve something. And whatever this formal structure achieves will benefit you. Maybe increase in sales, maybe a better public opinion about the company. Whatever it is, will still come to your pocket. Either you'll be working in a prestigious company, or you get your salary. So when we understand that we're in this together and it will benefit us and that we are helping one another, then I think there will be a more milder look and attitude to accountability.
Yeah, I agree, because I think if you've got resources, use them resources, because it will help you. Yeah. And I come from a sales background anyway, and it's if I was dealing with a customer or speaking to a customer and they say to me, they'd ask me a question, I didn't know the answer, I wouldn't say, make it up and pretend I knew. But I was very similar, like, let me go away, I'll find out the answer for you. Give them a timeline, give me a week. If I don't hear from you in a week, give me a call, like you said. Yeah. It's just that. But accountability for your own actions and accountability for...
Yeah, but a lot of people, they have problem with accountability because they don't have a wider picture of accountability. Yeah.
But I think you always, you will always find the answer.
Yeah.
Even if it's not straight away.
Okay, we'll move on. 15.
Yeah. Oh, it's a long one. Objection 15. Leaders can be fearful that seeking input will dilute their power, or that the process of letting the team have input may lead to criticism.
This is more in a formal setting.
Yeah.
Anybody relates that? Yeah, Alan.
I think as a leader, you don't know everything.
Yeah, you don't know everything.
No, you don't know everything. And if you say you do, then you're lying to yourself. So.
And if you say you do, you still don't know everything.
No, exactly. No like you say, no one's perfect. So I think that is a case of by seeking input from your peers, from your colleagues, people with experience in different areas, that empowers you as a leader, that gives you credibility. So the reason why you do that is to be successful as part of your planning. So you need a leader.
Yeah, actually there's a problem with the leader,
around the leaders to support the leaders.
Yeah, this is showing the insecurity of the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have people in your team, it's God's provision for you. Everybody as a seed of greatness in them, and whatever they had to that plan, you will still get the glory anyway. So, I mean, why not seize the opportunity and use it to improve any plan that you have? And the second part is about criticism. You know, things get better when it's being criticized. You know, if you have an open mind, if you really trying to achieve the best, it's even good when it's being criticized among your team. You know, see all the downside to it so that you can improve it and come up with something.
Or as a leader, you could, if it all fails, you just blame the people that you asked to help. It's your fault.
If it works, it's my glory. If it doesn't work, it's your fault.
I want to say something.
Okay.
Since you encouraged me for him, I really want to encourage you for Sunday Adelaja, because I think that he is that person that he really have this quality that he you don't feel he is over us. I feel he's really listen to us and earnest want to learn from us. I am impressed about that quality in a leader. Yes. So
Thank you.
I want to encourage you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. We should be rounding up by now, right? We should be rounding up. So the 16th one is the fear that the planning process leads to less than ideal goals being chosen by consensus. You know, it's still about knowing how to work in a team and trusting the people in our team. You know, so rather than either bringing your own plan or not having a plan at all. Some people who are not well educated as leaders, or some people who still have problem with insecurity, will be afraid that the plan that the team will choose will be different from what they will choose. But if they understand that, is it 2 heads are better than 1? Yeah, even if you don't feel like that at the beginning, you know, sometimes you'll be in a team and you can even be the chairman of the team, but the collective decision, you may not like it at first. Yeah, but after some times, you will see that it's still the best, because 2 heads sometimes, and most of the times, are better than 1 head. Okay, I think this is the last one. We think it's ungodly, you know. Pardon me? Yeah. Yes. Some people think it's ungodly. Like, for example, I mean, this part of the world is considered, the leading religion is Orthodoxy, and that is not the Catholic, but Orthodoxy. And one of their belief is they don't believe in family planning. Yeah, they don't believe in family planning. They think it's ungodly. They think every woman should give birth to as many children as God gives. Yeah. And I think Catholic Church was like that before. Yeah, but now at least they teach natural family planning. So they've been able to adjust to come up with something better. So that's an example, and there are a lot of planning not going on in some Christian section. They just trust God for the money to come. The money comes, they spend it. Again, they trust God. They trust God for the people to come. I mean, so some people still think it's ungodly. Please give the mic to.
And sometimes we think when we plan and then give it to God, we are the one dictating to God. Yeah. You know, we think, oh, after making your plan, then you are giving God to bless it.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's in the teaching, but we are going to stop here today. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, for today. So for me, it's been an honor. I think I have to sit down because I'm also tall a little bit. So it's been an honor having this discussion, this class with you. It's, how do you say it? It's giving me positive energy, positive impression. I think you are awesome people, wonderful people. There's an aura, you know, just a good aura being here. I think I've been with good people. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Buster. Thank you very much. Guys, we'll be back with Dr. Sunday in 20 minutes. So we will be back at 12:30 with Dr. Sunday. So join us then. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.